Hey, what's going on, APUSH peeps? Another good video for you today. This one is on Europe's presence in North America, war between France and England, and the ever so important Washington's farewell address. Before we begin, it's shout out time. I have to give a shout out to Mrs. Henley's class in Atlanta, Georgia. Thanks for your support. Best of luck. I appreciate you watching, and you will do great this year. So, Europe's presence in North America post-Revolutionary War. You may be thinking to yourself, why is Europe all up in our business? Didn't we just kick the English out of America? Well, sort of. So, Britain continued to occupy posts or forts in the United States after the Revolutionary War, which, by the way, they promised to vacate in the Treaty of Paris of 1783, but they did not. So they also had a presence in Canada. So England is all around. Spain is going to control the Mississippi River, the ever so important river for trade, and they will also control the very valuable city of New Orleans, located right in the Gulf of Mexico. What would become the Louisiana Purchase was given to Spain by France after the Revolutionary War. Then it will be secretly given back to France, and the U.S. will buy this land from France. So the U.S. engaged in diplomatic initiatives to deal with England and Spain to try to improve relations. Jay's Treaty, which we touched on in the last video, was a treaty with Britain, and the U.S. would receive compensation for damaged ships because England was damaging our ships and even impressing or kidnapping sailors and forcing them into the British Navy. Britain promised to leave posts or forts, so this is the second time they promised to do that, and they do not. And this treaty is, as we discovered in the last video, is going to be a huge reason for the development of the first party system, because Democratic Republicans who supported France are going to be furious with this treaty, specifically because it granted Britain favored trading status and France was left out. And France is going to feel betrayed because they just helped us out in the Revolutionary War. Now the U.S. is making treaties with Great Britain and giving them special privileges. So this is a major cause, again, of the development of political parties. Now, Pinckney's treaty of the same year was a treaty with Spain. And what this did was it allowed the U.S. to have navigation rights on the Mississippi River. So previously, the U.S. was cut off from the Mississippi River. Now they're allowed to trade on this river. And they also have what's known as the right of deposit in New Orleans, which allows them to store goods before they are shipped out to be sold in New Orleans. So war is going to break out between France and England shortly after the French Revolution in 1789, in which King Louis XVI was overthrown and he was actually beheaded by the guillotine. And shortly after this, France and England go to war. Both sides want to keep the U.S. from siding with the other. Each side would prefer the U.S. to kind of help them out, or at a minimum, not side with the opposing side. France in particular is going to ask the U.S. to help them out because France helped out the U.S. during the Revolutionary War. Britain is going to follow a policy of impressment, which is the forced taking of soldiers into the British Navy, and France will be disappointed when the U.S. does not provide aid. Again, they're looking for that return favor from the Battle of Saratoga and the Revolutionary War. Democratic Republicans, led by Thomas Jefferson, are going to be very vocal about wanting to support France, but ultimately Washington will decide to remain neutral. And this, again, is a major cause of the formation of the first party system that we talked about in the previous video. So Washington's farewell address at the end of his second term, remember, that's one of the precedents that he established. He decided to peace out. He didn't want to be president anymore. And that was something that other presidents followed until FDR. He issued his farewell address in 1796 in papers across the United States. It was written by Washington and his boy Hamilton, one of his good friends. They wrote it together. And this helped influence U.S. foreign policy for years to come. I can't stress enough how important this is for the first 150 years or so of this nation. The nation really tried to follow his advice. And this is another precedent that Washington established. This would be a great connection to another time period in a foreign policy essay. So if you're writing a foreign policy essay about World War I or World War II, make sure to connect it to Washington's farewell address. I know I'm getting ahead. We'll get there. We'll cover it all, but just keep that in the back of your mind. So what did the farewell address actually say? Well, he warned of foreign entanglements. He basically said to the United States, you should remain neutral. Don't get involved in the affairs of Europe. And his ghost, this message, will hover over foreign policy debates until World War II, especially in World War I, pictured here with the big leaders of Europe and Woodrow Wilson. Many Americans are going to want to stay out of European affairs after World War I. Washington also warned of political parties. He said they kind of divide the nation. You don't want to be a part of them, but that was not followed. So for the most part, his foreign policy advice was followed for many years. His political party advice was not. And again, check out Hamilton's One Last Time, sung by Christopher Jackson and Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's all about his farewell address. Okay, let's finish with a quick recap. Britain in post-Revolutionary War. Keep in mind they're hanging out in U.S. forts. Jay's Treaty, what was it? What did it grant to Britain, and how did that impact political parties? Pinckney's Treaty granted navigation rights on the Mississippi River. Washington's farewell address, know everything about it. All right, guys, look forward to seeing you back here for the final video of Period 3, Art, Literature, Architecture, Native Americans, and Frontier Cultures. If you want to know who the most talented person alive is, check out Leslie Odom Jr. here. He played Aaron Burr in the musical, and he is absolutely amazing. And again, make sure you check out that music. Thanks for watching, guys. Best of luck as always this year, and have a good day.